Recently, I got a judgmental comment on one of my videos, and I like to use these comments as good educational opportunities about neurodiversity. This comment in particular was basically along the lines of, you're attention seeking, you shouldn't be seeking a diagnosis as people who have real problems, everyone has problems, just kind of get on with life and deal with it. And the person who wrote this comment, I am not gonna get down to their level and be judgmental, because what's the point in that? I think the way I worded it then, yeah, those words were used, attention seeking and things like that, but I could tell that the person themselves was actually potentially like hurting inside maybe, or feeling a bit bitter about their own lives. A happy person would not comment on a video that is meant to empower others and leave a negative comment. They just wouldn't do it. Somebody who is maybe a bit more bitter about their own life is more likely to do that. So this person, I am not judging this person for this comment. They are obviously potentially hurting inside, potentially going through something, or have maybe had a difficult life and, you know, that's their experience. But I wanted to make a point of this and how people still misunderstand things. So going by, and I agree with some of the things that this person said. So for example, yes, everyone is going through something. Almost every human on the planet has some kind of trauma or something that they've experienced that has hurt them. I agree with that 100%. And it's not to say that the person commenting hasn't been through things. It's not to say that other people in the world don't go through things. Of course they do. Everybody knows that. But the impression I got, and I might be wrong about this, but the impression I got from the comment was kind of like, well, you're seeking a diagnosis for being neurodivergent. You know, everyone else has got real things to worry about. It was kind of like along the lines of that this person thought that when neurodivergent people seek a diagnosis, or when neurodivergent people who maybe present like me on a video seek a diagnosis, is that all you've got to worry about? That is the impression I got. Might not be true, but this person has watched, I'm guessing, one video of me and thought, you don't need a diagnosis, I'm guessing this person may not have even been neurodivergent themselves, or if they were, they either didn't know they were or maybe in denial. But it was like they watched the video of me and thought, if that's all you've got to worry about, then, you know, stop attention seeking. Other people actually have real issues and real things to worry about. They obviously don't know me as a person, and I have experienced a lot of trauma in my life and been through a lot of things, but that's irrelevant. I don't have to explain that to that person. But my point is, if this same person who made the comments saw a video about a person who was maybe addicted to alcohol seeking help for their addiction to alcohol, they would likely not judge that person for seeking help for their addiction to alcohol. They would likely think, well, good for you for getting help. So if a person who does not struggle with alcohol addiction can look at a person who does struggle with alcohol addiction and think, well, good for you for getting help, then why can't they do the same with when a neurotypical person is looking at a neurodivergent people and judging them for seeking a diagnosis? Why is that different? Because obviously, when you have ADHD or autism and you have a different experience to a neurotypical person, they don't understand your experience. Just as somebody who is not addicted to alcohol does not understand the experience of someone who is addicted to alcohol, but they can still see the benefit in that person seeking help for their alcohol addiction. So when you put it into context like that, then it doesn't make any sense. These judgmental comments do not make any sense, which it didn't anyway. I could tell this person was coming from a lack of understanding, and that's fine. That's the whole point of this, is to educate people. But it was another comment used as well within, we had a bit of a back and forth conversation, and I tried to keep it respectful because I don't want to argue with people. I wouldn't go and comment something. I wouldn't go and find a post that is meant to empower someone else and comment something negative on it. I would never do that. So I was trying to I don't enjoy arguing with people, so that's not what I wanted to do. But I did. I thought, no, I'm not don't come on my page and comment something that you don't understand. So I did make a point to this person in a non-confronting way. So my point is, this person also used the comment of, it's being overdiagnosed. So they're obviously getting their information from mainstream media, which I'm not even going to comment on that, to be honest. But this is obviously a person who's getting information fed to them from an unreliable source, and that's their truth. And that must be right. So they feel like they have the right to comment on something that doesn't even involve them, and that's fine. But if there's anybody who was watching this video that has thought along them lines, take the time to understand something before commenting negatively on something. It is not about just feeling like everyone, yeah, of course, everyone's entitled to an opinion, but why go through the world being bitter about someone else's experience that is not going to impact you? What is the point in that? I don't understand the point in that. Having the label for people who have spent their whole life undiagnosed and feeling negative about themselves and wondering why they struggle with everything, and it impacting their mental health massively and impacting their life massively. To get a label can be so empowering for a lot of people. I am not saying it's empowering for everyone, but for many people it is. For me, it has been life-changing in a positive way. And not because I am just using that label to say, feel sorry for me. That is not what it's for, and that is not what it's for so many people. It is so you can understand yourself. It is so you can then move forward and find a different way of doing things. That is the whole point of it. It is empowering. It is empowering to be able to actually get the support you need at work so you can do your job better. It is empowering to get the support you need at school or college or university so you have the same opportunities as other people, or not even the same, because you still don't have the same opportunities, but so you can have at least a better opportunity than you would have had without that support. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with getting the support you need and are entitled to, just so you can have a better chance at life. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It is so empowering to be able to finally think, I wasn't a failure all along. My brain just worked differently and I need to find a new way of doing it. If you are struggling to comprehend that for someone else and you don't want, you're so bitter that somebody else is getting some support, then maybe it's time to look at an area of your life where you need support, because there's something there. All I can speak for is myself. When other people, if somebody else is starting a business, I'm like, yeah, good for you, and I feel excited for them. I feel really excited for their experience as though it was my own. If somebody else is getting the support they need, I feel happy for them and think, yeah, that's great. If you need that support, get that support. You deserve it. I do not feel bitter about somebody else trying to improve their life, and I don't understand why other people do, because why? Why? You do get people in life, unfortunately, who kind of thrive off other people failing or thrive off other people being miserable, and I don't understand that. So this video, it's not any animosity towards that person commenting. Yeah, it was an annoying comment, and I think that why do it? Why try and be bitter about something that's meant to empower someone? But I hope that person, maybe they're watching now, I don't know, but I hope that person can take the time to educate themselves and to take the time to understand that just because it's not your experience doesn't mean you understand, doesn't mean you get to comment and it's not affecting your life. So why does it make you so unhappy? It's not your experience, and that's, good for you. That's not your experience. You've got a different experience. Everybody experiences trauma and things that hurt them, including people who seek a diagnosis for ADHD or autism. It doesn't mean that's the only thing they're struggling with, ADHD and autism. It doesn't mean they don't experience real life problems, because guess what? We often experience real life problems even more. And I'm not saying that in a way where it's like, oh, it's worse for neurodivergent people than it is for neurotypical. No, it's not. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that we experience problems that neurotypical people don't experience. And when we do experience trauma, we often experience it at an extremely deep level. So for that person who watched one of my videos, I'm guessing, and judged me and thought, oh, this is all you're dealing with. I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and I have been in some really dark places as well. It hasn't just been ADHD and autism. It has been other things as well. And that's how it is for most people. So next time, if you're going to comment negatively on somebody's positive post, then hold yourself back. Try to be a bit less judgmental and educate yourself first. And then if you still have a comment to make, then make it.